Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm starting a new video series I'm going to call Honest Thoughts. Basically, the title suggests that I will be giving you my honest thoughts about things like games, products, videos, movies, TV shows, or really anything I have my mind on. And basically, I'm bridging the gap between data feedback and like numbers and logic and rants and feelings. I'm bridging the gap between those two kind of very opposite things. So you'll see people rant about things and just give their raw, unfiltered opinions, and then you'll see other people, mainly me, that's mainly what I've done in the past, is give like very assertive and constructive criticism and very thought out and logical calm feedback. And today I'm just going to bridge the gap between those two. So while I do have points that are like numbers based, I also have some things that I really feel are what's good for what I'm about to talk about. But anyway, I'm getting too like kind of vague and confusing. Let's just jump into it. So today I'm going to be talking about Modern Combat Versus. It is the hot new game right now. Well, kind of. That's the thing. It's not really the hot new game. It's not getting as much popularity as I think Gameloft hoped it would. Games like Rules of Survival and Survival Royale and the new PUBG are getting tons and tons of more popularity, and I think that that's what Gameloft wants, and they're just not getting it. And today I'm gonna tell Gameloft and tell you guys why I think that is. Gameloft, if you guys are watching, these again are my honest opinions and honest thoughts about why your game isn't doing as successful as you might hope it will be. I realize this because most people around me who have mobile phones, who do play games on their phones, are playing games like Rules of Survival, and they're not they're the type of people who play Clash Royale. Right, these are the type of people I'm talking about. They play Fortnite and Call of Duty. They're the normies basically, and they've never heard of Modern Combat Versus or Gameloft games and stuff like that. So, and again, I know the whole thing isn't about popularity. Like, I really want this game to succeed because I like the base of this game. I like the basic gameplay of this game, but the full potential isn't being unlocked due to really poor decisions by Gameloft, and I want to let you guys know how I think you guys can improve this game monumentally. If these changes are implemented and these things are improved that I'm about to talk about, this game is it could be just so much better. I think they would have a real mobile esport on their hands. I think it would be really good, but they're not. Most of these things have been issues. Pretty much all of these things have been issues since the soft launch about a year ago, and they haven't been improved, barely at all. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into the first thing, which is netcode. Basically, what netcode is the online stuff between your phone, the server, and another person's phone or tablet. And the netcode is how they all talk to each other, basically. So the term netcode was basically popularized when Battlefield 4 was being launched by EA back in 2013. It was a disaster. Much of the stuff that happened back then in Battlefield 4 is happening now in Modern Combat Versus. So some examples are dying behind cover, getting one-shotted by agents with automatic guns. Let's say Creeper, you see Creeper peek you and he instantly kills you. That might look suspicious. However, on his screen, he shot you, however many times it took to kill you. But on your end, because the connection is slow and what's called the tick rate isn't very fast, it seems like you're getting one-shotted. So stuff like that's happening. Teleportation of players with relatively medium pings. Lots of rubber banding with low ping, and especially and this kind of does affect the game a lot more than you guys think it might have. But core abilities taking too long to activate once you click the button, because it is server-sided. If I click the button on my screen, it has to register that I clicked it on the server side. So, and that takes way too long to activate. So these are all things that happen, well, except for the core ability stuff that happened during Battlefield 4's launch. And about a year or two after it launched, the developers, DICE Studios, fixed these issues, and people still play this game in 2018. Like thousands of players I'm talking about. There are still full servers of this game running to this day. This game is 5 years old, guys, and because EA and DICE went out to fix these issues like the netcode, and the performance and stuff like that, they got their shit together. They made this game so much more popular, and they made it last so much longer than they could have anticipated. So this is why I think Modern Combat Versus, Gameloft and Gameloft Montreal should pay attention to these issues and really try and solve them, because it will make their game not only last longer, but it will make it so much more enjoyable. I love this game at its core, but when I'm getting shot behind cover, if I run past a building or something and I get behind cover, and as much as half a second to a whole second later I die by a monarch who's all the way across the map, who had a clear line of sight of me 3 seconds ago, but I died because on his screen it didn't show me in cover, that just really pisses me off, and that makes me want to quit the game. Stuff like if I shoot tower with a whole mag of my creeper bullets or whatever, and he doesn't take any damage and then just bashes me and I die, that's infuriating, guys. And I'm sure most of you guys who play Modern Combat Versus have experienced things like this before, and that's really the core issue with the game right now, is the hit registration and what's called the tick rate. Now, I don't know the tick rate of the game specifically. It could be 3 hertz, or it could be 100 million hertz. All I know is that it sucks. Basically, the tick rate is how many times the server is updated per second. Obviously, the higher the tick rate, the more responsive the server is going to feel. So the more bullets will register, the more player movement will feel more accurate and stuff like that. And I don't know, again, I don't know the specifics of it, but I know in Battlefield's case, it was, I believe, around 13, which is terrible when the game launched. 13 hertz for 64 players with explosions and all that stuff. Just 13 times a second the game is being updated, versus now it's 60 or 120 depending on what server you join. That makes a monumental difference. Bullets feel like they mean something because they hit, and they register, and you feel like you have an impact. It changes the entire feel of the game. And Gameloft, you guys really got to step up your online connection. I don't know what happened, but in Nova 3 it was great. In Modern Combat 4 it seemed great. In Modern Combat 5 it was okay. There were certainly some times that seemed questionable, but the previous games seemed totally fine, and I don't know why now they're worse than ever. But you guys really got to fix your online connections, because they're really bad. And don't blame it on the player's connection, because I know my internet is perfectly fine. I know other players' internet is perfectly fine. And, when there's issues going on, we know it's not the players, it's you guys. So you guys really got to get that stuff together. I think that is basically one of the most important issues with this game right now. Next off, this is my second big topic, is performance. We're in a new era of mobile gaming where 30 FPS really isn't that acceptable anymore. I mean, for racing games, I guess. Asphalt 8 dips down to like 20, which is absolutely ridiculous, because it is a 5-year-old game now. But if you're playing Critical Ops, you're playing Bullet Force, you're playing Modern Combat Versus, you want to have as smooth as an experience as possible. And I don't understand why they capped this game at 35 frames per second. Now, of course, the graphics on this game look absolutely stunning, and I can't, express my feelings for how beautiful this game looks on my phone. But it's not running at 60 FPS, which is trash, right? I can't track other players, like I can't aim as good anymore, and the way that you guys handle like the aim, like the camera smoothing or whatever, is terrible. I don't know what you guys at Montreal versus what you get, what the Modern Combat 5 team does. I think in Bucharest. Sorry. I don't know what you guys do differently, but the tracking in Modern Combat 5, like how your finger moves around the screen and your view changes, they do it so much better, especially in like Nova 3 and Modern Combat 5 versus what you guys do with Modern Combat 4 and Modern Combat Versus. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know if you guys are using different proprietary engines, but they do it way better than you guys do, Gameloft Montreal. And for the love of God, I can't track people in this game, not only because of the 35 FPS frame cap, But the whatever camera smoothing you guys are using, I know we have the ability to change it, but if I go too low, it feels like it's I'm just I don't know how to explain it. It feels like there's steps between where the tracking is going, and if I go too high, it feels like I don't have any control over my camera. It's just way too smooth. So please look at other games like Bullet Force and Critical Ops and try and take those controls or whatever and put them into your game, because however you guys are dealing with camera movement is just trash. I can't get used to it at all. It's really bad, guys. So I do want to mention, I want to go back to the 35 FPS versus 60 FPS. So I've been getting into the Battle Royale games, and I just downloaded Rules of Survival. I do prefer Survival Royale, but I wanted to give Rules of Survival a shot, because previously they didn't have 60 FPS. It was very laggy, very terrible. And, I wanted to try it out now, maybe see if they improved things, and they added a high frame mode, and I was like, oh, that's great. So I jumped into their new map, which has 300 players on it, and it's an 8x8 kilometer map. And this game on my iPhone 6s, which is a 2-year-old device, still runs at 60 FPS. Now, there are, of course, drops every here and then. It's not a constant every second 60 FPS. If there's a bunch of people firing at me, if there's, this and that, if it really gets super intense, then it's going to drop below 60. Now, it's not going to drop below 30. Modern Combat Versus drops below 30 all the time. Every couple of seconds, I experience a major frame drop. But in Rules of Survival, it's a pretty constant 60. And again, there's 300 players on this map, and it's an 8x8 kilometer map. How they made it run at 60, I don't know. But GameLoft, whatever you guys are doing, you're doing it wrong, right? And something else that Rules of Survival does right is they let us choose, and this is also for other games like Shadowgun Legends. They let us change the graphics settings and the maximum FPS settings. So in Bullet Force, we can choose between having a 30 frame cap and an unlimited cap. In Shadowgun Legends, we can choose between a 30 cap and a 60 cap. And in Rules of Survival and Survival Royale, we can choose between 60 FPS limit and just no limit, I think. Or I think a 30 limit and a 60 limit. It just says high frame mode, but I think what that means is just a 60 FPS limit. So why can't we do this in Modern Combat Versus, or Modern Combat Versus? I know you can do it on PC, but why not on mobile? This gives players so much more flexibility and a sense of control over their game. And why it's not on mobile, I don't know. I really, really don't know. If I love the fact that the graphics are so good, but if I'm playing, hardcore, and I really want every bit of performance I can, I'm going to turn those graphics all the way down, GameLoft, no matter what platform I'm on. And the fact that you guys don't let me do it, and it's 2018 and all the other games are doing it, is really infuriating. And I would really like the ability to do that. It's ridiculous why I can't turn my graphics down to get 60 FPS. I recognize my phone is 2 years old, but you guys are trying to pump out the best graphics out of my phone. My phone can barely handle it. Yet I really would like to turn down the graphics so I can get 60 FPS. And if you guys are trying to promote this as an esport, what you guys are doing right now is unacceptable when it comes to esports. Critical Ops runs at 60 FPS. Bullet Force runs at 60 FPS. Again, there's Rules of Survival game. It's a battle royale game with more than 100 players. Even going to 300 players in Rules of Survival runs at 60 FPS. Like, guys, GameLoft Montreal, what are you doing? Alright, you gotta let us lower these graphics settings so we can get 60 FPS. It would improve the game so much. You guys don't understand how much 60 versus 35 or 30 FPS, how much of a difference that makes. I also want to mention that the overall game is just super buggy. I mean, it feels like a beta. Guys, let's be honest. GameLoft, you guys understand this, especially with the the recent Tower Bash bug, with the new map bug, I believe, on the map that looks very similar to that Modern Combat 4 map. Anyway, you can drop through the places where you want to wall run. Bugs like that, the fact that the menus are completely unresponsive sometimes and super laggy, things like that just are unacceptable in general. And I don't know if it's the corporate game loft trying to push this game as fast as possible to, come out as fast as possible, or Montreal, you guys are just kind of doing a bit of a sloppy job here. But that stuff is just very infuriating, and in general just makes me very angry. So those are all the points I had on my phone, but I do want to keep talking a bit more here because I really want this game to succeed. I had a whole thread on Twitter about this. By the way, I know this is a shameless plug, but please follow me on Twitter if you guys want like my latest stuff, updates and opinions and stuff like that. But anyway, Game Loft, if you guys are watching, I really want this game to succeed. I really, really, really like this game. I really do. I do want to touch a bit though on the whole agent system, how you can upgrade your agent from versus coins and stuff like that. In Rules of Survival and all these new up and coming battle royale games, the only thing you can pay for is cosmetic items, and I really, really like that, and it seems to be working for pretty well for them, because they're holding tournaments with like $650,000, which is awesome. But they're making their money entirely off of cosmetic items, and I understand you guys might be a bit afraid to do this, and I know you've implemented skins that you can pay for, but I would really like it so that it fully transitions into skins and cosmetic items rather than just upgrading your agents and stuff. I know you guys just recently added a tournament mode for the live tournaments, which is awesome. It sets all the agents maximum level to 20, which is great. I'm very happy you guys added that, but still, I would like to see it kind of like Overwatch, where it's just everyone's agents or everyone's heroes are the same power and stuff. It's just cosmetic. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say for Modern Combat Versus. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and especially on this new kind of series. I know it's kind of like unfiltered and unedited and stuff, but I really want to get these honest thoughts out as fast as possible, because this is what I'm really feeling, guys. Again, I can't stress enough, Game Loft. The netcode needs to be improved greatly, and the performance, you need to give us more options. Other than that, there are, of course, agent balancing issues. That's the nitty-gritty stuff I don't want to get into in this video, because I don't think it's worth my time talking about that. I'd rather just post a post on the forum. But these are the issues I want to be vocal about right now: the performance and the netcode. Those are seriously certain things that you guys really need to get your act together on, Game Loft. You improve those things, right? Of course, work on agent balancing, bringing new content to the game and updating the game. But if you fix the netcode and performance, or at least improve them greatly, I really think you guys have a great esport, and most importantly, just a great game in general on your hands, especially when this game is all multiplayer. Especially, like, you guys have a whole team dedicated to one mode, and you guys still have these issues, which is very weird considering Modern Combat 4 had both single and multiplayer, yet their multiplayer was more stable than Modern Combat Versus' multiplayer. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you all in the next video. See ya.